Are you guys ready to begin?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. The January 13th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order in the interest of promoting health and safety as we continue to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. The Board of Estimates continues to meet virtually. At this time, before we begin, I would like to welcome our new member of the board. That's our city solicitor, Jim Shea. Jim, would you like a couple minutes to address the citizens of Baltimore?
Thank you, President Mosby, and I am delighted to be here, members of the Board of Estimates and citizens of Baltimore. I was born in Baltimore, and I have spent over 40 years of my professional career working in the city of Baltimore. I love the city. It's a great city, and I'd like to help in any way I can. I'm going to give it 100% of my effort. And I look forward to working with all of you and serving the people of Baltimore. Thank you, President Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. City Solicitor. Just one correction, we need you to give it 110%.
That's fine. I'll even do 150. How's that?
There we go. No, Jim, again, thank you for joining us. At this time, I'll recognize the Comptroller, Bill Henry, for any corrections or additions to today's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 28, item number 1, the first sentence currently reads, Baltimore City Information and Technology has 100 monitors and 250 desktops. Please delete and insert the Department of Public Works has 100 monitors and 250 desktops. No additional protests were received for today's meeting. There are no deferrals or withdrawals. We are moving 4 items to the non-routine agenda on pages 30 to 31, Law Department, Settlement Agreement and Release. Pages 63 to 64, item number 7, Bureau of Procurement, B50002877, Advanced Metering Infrastructure and Water Meter System Installation, Itron Incorporated. On pages 67 to 68, item number 4, B50006094, group number 1 SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles. And on pages 68 to 69, number 5, B50006095, group number 2 SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles. No items are being moved to routine. We have the following abstentions. Honorable Mayor Brandon Scott, none. Honorable President Nick Mosby on page 47, item number 1, Office of the State's Attorney for Baltimore City, retroactive travel approval reimbursement. For myself, page 49, item number 2, Youth Empowered Society Incorporated. And for City Solicitor James Shea and Acting DPW Director Mr. Matthew Garbark, there are no abstentions. Memos for the extensions for the President and myself will be attached to the records of this meeting. I also have an announcement about minutes. Would you like me to do that now, or would you like to do that at the end?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so we just wanted to announce a change in the format of the minutes. We will be providing written formal minutes of the Board of Estimates meetings going forward. We are discontinuing the practice of a word-for-word verbatim transcript, and anyone who is looking for the exact words of what happened during the meeting, we will have audio and video records maintained both on the cloud, and the Comptroller's office will maintain an official copy on media here in our possession. Records will be maintained for at least 5 years after each meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Comptroller. I now direct the board's attention to the memorandum from my office dated January the 11th, 2021, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items, together with any corrections and additions that have been noted by the Comptroller. I will entertain a motion to approve all the items contained on the routine agenda.
Mr. City Solicitor, you're muted.
Already made my first mistake. I move the routine agenda.
Second.
Since it's been moved and properly second, all those in favor of approving all items on the routine agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The routine agenda items have now been adopted. The first item on the non-routine agenda can be found on pages 30 through 31, Law Department, Settlement Agreement and Release. I recognize Lisa Walden, Chief of the Office of Legal Affairs for the Baltimore City Police Department, to speak on this item. Ms. Walden, you have the floor.
Good morning, President Mosby, Mayor Scott, members of the Board of Estimates. This is a settlement agreement of a matter brought by Eric Jones against officers Joshua Jordan and Russell Tonks, arising from a situation wherein the officers were called to a call for service. The unfortunate result of the encounter was that Mr. Jones fled the scene. The officers gave pursuit, and in the course of tackling Mr. Jones, he came down and injured his head. The result was a fairly significant injury that will be permanent in nature. Mr. Tom Barnard is here joining me today. He's litigated that case. The case has been through the motions that would give us the opportunity to end the case short of trial. So we thought it prudent to consider the risk to the city and the taxpayers were this case to go to trial. And because of that, it was the judgment of the settlement committee of the law department, Mr. Barnard, that we end this case with settlement in the amount of $550,000. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
At this moment, are there any questions from the board for Ms. Walden?
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Comptroller.
Thank you. So I had asked for this item to be on the non-routine agenda out of the concern over the apparent disconnect between the fact that we were settling or proposing to settle this case, and yet the two officers who were involved in it, my initial understanding was that they were not disciplined in any way. And so I wanted to get a better understanding of why we were settling a case in which apparently our officers did nothing wrong. And so I was hoping that Ms. Walden or Mr. Bernard could speak a little bit more in detail as to why this is moving forward in this direction, despite the fact that the officers did nothing worthy of internal discipline by the department.
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Comptroller. I think sort of a bit of context here. You are correct that neither of the officers involved in this incident were disciplined by the department. Although I think it should be noted that the department did, in fact, investigate the situation because of the severity of the injuries to Mr. Jones. They did what would today be called a CERT investigation. They examined the circumstances of the tackle and the injuries. They subsequently collaborated with the state's attorney's office about the possibility of criminal charges, which were declined. And ultimately, the then Use of Force Review Board looked at the situation, looked at the officer's conduct, and measured it against the existing policies at the time, and concluded that there was no violation of policy here. And so that's the reason that the officers were not disciplined. I think it bears note that both of these officers have otherwise sterling records, and to my knowledge, no history of other use of force incidents. And in general, I would say that this is an older incident. The processes of the department have evolved over time, as have the policies. I'm sure you all are aware that with our work under the consent decree, BPD today has industry-leading policies on use of force, stop searches and arrests. There's a very recent foot pursuit policy, in part because of that's a high-risk situation that presents the opportunity for injury to both the person being pursued and also to the officer. So these are issues that we've considered significantly in that work. As far as why we then chose to settle the case, notwithstanding that we don't believe that the officers, in fact, did anything wrong to our knowledge, I would invite Mr. Barnard to fill in the details. But in essence, there are many, many reasons why we settle cases and considerations other than simply the belief that the officers engaged in misconduct. And in this case, the plaintiff was seeking well in excess of $1 million in damages. The plaintiff would present as being potentially quite sympathetic to a jury because of his continuing injuries resulting from this incident. And sympathy of that nature among jury members really just cannot be predicted. And although we may believe that there are legitimate, legal, technical defenses to this case that should carry the day, there's always the risk with a jury that they're going to see a sympathetic plaintiff who has legitimate and serious injuries and, conclude that there needs to be an award to that person that could well exceed the settlement that we've reached here. So the purpose of the settlement really is to limit the risk to the city of a very large judgment.
Mr. Comptroller, any additional questions or comments?
No, I think that answers my question. Thank you.
At this point, are there any other additional questions or comments directed towards Ms. Walden? Mr. Bernard, do you have anything to add at this time?
I don't want to, Mr. President, I don't want to use your time up. Ms. Walden explained it very well, but I'm happy to answer if anyone has detailed questions about the case or the litigation, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Hearing no additional questions or concerns regarding this issue at this time, we'll entertain a motion regarding the settlement agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Since it's been moved and properly second, all those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries and is approved. The next item on the routine agenda can be found on page 63 through 64. Informal awards, renewals, increases to contracts, and extensions. Item 7, Itron Incorporated. At this time, I would turn the floor over to a representative from the Department of Public Works to speak on this item.
Good morning, Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Solicitor, and other members of the board. My name is Julie Day. I am here on behalf of the Department of Public Works, where I serve as the Chief Administrative Officer. And I would entertain any questions you have about this item as we respectfully request your approval.
At this time, are there any questions for Ms. Day? Yes, Mr. Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. President. My understanding is that renewing this contract will continue to subject us to potentially about $500,000 a year in outside services to this private vendor. I guess the first question would be, is there a reason why we couldn't do that work in-house?
Thank you, Mr. Comptroller. That is something that we're definitely, we're seriously investigating. We're trying to do a thorough analysis of the work of the meter shop and right-size the workforce along with the developing the technical skills in-house so that ultimately we could take the maintenance portion of this contract in-house.
Do you have a time frame for that? My understanding is that there are annual renewals for this contract. Is this something that we can get done in the coming year such that we can restructure this contract before we would have to renew it again?
Yes, sir. That certainly is the goal. We are very aggressively doing the analysis, beginning the work that would lead to the change in the staffing at the meter shop and creating opportunities for city employees for higher technical skilled jobs. So yes, we would be happy to report back to the board or to you as comptroller within, if 60 days would be satisfactory to you, we would commit to that timeline.
Well, first of all, I'm very glad to hear that. And second, do you already have a sense of what challenges you can expect in trying to do this? Whether they would be in the skills and experience and recruitment. Will we need to, ask the mayor and our brand new chief administrative officer to make sure that HR and finance are approaching this with an open mind to help you restructure as needed.
Certainly, we would ask for an open mind and a sense of urgency. These are technical skills that the maintenance of these. It's a proprietary software that operates the meters, so there is a technical skill beyond what our current staff has. Training is an opportunity that we would offer to them, as well as recruitment for folks out in the general public that already have those skills to enhance the workforce.
Okay. That's my questions, Mr. President. Thank you.
No, thank you. Real quick, Ms. Day. So Itron offers some like enterprise training on their proprietary software to municipal employees.
Yes, that's certainly something that we will take advantage. I'm sorry for interrupting, sir.
No, you're fine. Is that a practice in another place that they currently have footprint in?
I would have to look. I would have to look into that. I'm not familiar with their practices across other municipalities, but I do know that it's a multinational corporation. So I'm certain that there are cities that have taken advantage of that opportunity, and we would look to follow that example.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the board that we hold over. I'm sorry, Mr. Comptroller.
I'm sorry. I forgot there was another question I wanted to ask in relation.
You can't ask any more questions. Go ahead, Mr. Comptroller.
I wanted to ask to clarify, because I know that one of the issues that has come up in the media is how water billing is handled in the city versus in the county. And I wanted to clarify that the meters in the city and the meters in the county are the same, but are they read the same?
Thank you for that question. It is an important distinction. No, they are not read the same. The meters in the city transmit a signal of the reading of consumption to a tower, and that from that tower, the data is translated into a type of data that can be built, that we can build from. In the county, the meters are set up with a transmitter that is read by a car drives down the road with a laptop in the front desk, and they capture the data that way instead of using a tower that we use that consolidates the data into a single location.
So when the county reads it in that fashion, is the car being driven by county employees or contracted out employees or your employees?
Currently, they have a short-term contract with Itron for the read that was most recently completed. Going forward, they are city employees, to my understanding.
Huh, okay. Is there any, has there been any discussion internally about trying to reconfigure the city meters, the city meter reading system to something like that to reduce our reliance on the towers?
I would posit the opposite, that when when these meters were installed and implemented, the idea was that the city and the county would both be using towers, and that be similar billing systems. The two billing systems are separate and distinct. The county relies on what we affectionately call the legacy system. So we have been working closely with the county administrator Rogers and the team at Metro to coordinate our efforts and to be just be more efficient and more collaborative as the regional water source that we have. So we would hope that ultimately they would convert instead to the system we have.
To the tower base.
To the method of collection that we use.
Okay. All right. Is that affection deserved? No. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Comptroller. I just would, to the Comptroller's point, just for a point of order, raise up that the county executive and myself have committed to working together, and just know that everything, when we're talking of this, the water system is going to be looked at from top to bottom to make sure that we're being the most efficient, most effective, but also that people are getting bills that they can trust and believe in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
At this point, are there any additional questions or comments? I'm going to ask that we hold this item over to the next meeting. I think we have our new solicitor on board in Jim Shea. Definitely give him additional opportunity as the lawyer on call to kind of look over the contract more. I have some additional concerns, but I think that we can just hold this over. We know that this is kind of on the hearts and minds of not just us in city government. I know our mayor has taken this on, and I know our comptroller is very interested, as well as myself. And I think it's really important for an item like this for us time to all come together and kind of make sure we're on the same page and are comfortable with moving forward. We know our residents are struggling, not in the city of Baltimore, of course, worldwide, but as we are representatives of the city of Baltimore, we know our residents are struggling with this pandemic. And combined with the recent revelations associated with the operations of the water billing and some of the issues around there, of course, we are all deeply concerned. Recently, I sent a letter, Mr. Solicitor, as well as Mr. Director Garbach. I'll provide one to you as well concerning the increase of water bills. It's set to take place in July of 2021. This increase stems from a decision from the board in January of 2019. The board could not have foreseen the crisis that we face today, meaning the pandemic, but also more importantly, the work that was done by the Inspector General. But at that time, the board saw the wisdom of delaying the implementation of the increase shortly after the pandemic shutdown last year. We must act again now. I think that we should delay the rate increase. Families again are suffering. This is one small gesture. I think that the city can again show our residents that we understand and know the concerns and the conditions that they currently face. Again, we know that through that report, $133 million of the city was spent over the past decade, and many people are disturbed by it. We know that this issue has been an issue for far too long for our residents. The council has already taken action, as discussed through the Rules and Legislative Oversight Committee. We'll be holding an investigative hearing in the coming weeks. We will examine how we ended up with at least 22,000 digital water meters that had some kind of operational issues, while thousands of customer complaints went unresolved. Today, I'll also reach out to you, Mr. Solicitor, to see if you could look at, again, the contract of where we were 10 years ago, the contract that we signed and the product that we received, and where we are today. Folks have paid more than enough money into the system, again, for the past 10 years, and it's not delivered what we promised them as a city 10 years ago. I will steer legislation through the city council to freeze rate increases, but we know that this is an action that this body has to take. So I'm not going to entertain a motion today, but I just wanted to ensure that, one, we had all the information in front of us, and I look forward to working with you to potentially entertain a motion to freeze the rates through the pandemic. At this point, if there are any additional questions or concerns regarding this matter. Hearing none, the next item on the non-routine agenda.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Just, I know that you wanted to defer this item. I think we would have to have a motion to defer.
Oh, sorry. I take a motion to defer the item on.
So moved.
Second. Did I hear a second? Since it's been moved and properly second, at this point, all ayes, please say aye.
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 All nays. The ayes have it. The next item on the non-routine agenda can be found on pages 67 through 69. Recommendations for the contract awards, rejections. Items 4B5000 6094, group number 1, SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles, and item 5B5000, 6095, group number 2, SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles. We received a protest on each of these items from the same entity. You may recall that this item was before the board on our June the 23rd meeting and was deferred to today. Will the parties please identify themselves at this time? First here, item number 4. Do we have from procurement or law, Ms. Keisha Brown or Laura Simon?
Good morning, President Mosby, Mayor Scott, Controller Henry, and other members of the board. My name is Keisha Brown, and I'm the acting city purchasing agent. And yes, B50006094 Group 1 SUV medium and heavy duty vehicle received a protest whereby T-Rex refuted the fact that they were found non-responsive because they failed to give a firm fixed price, in addition to another company that they had an opportunity to inspect the bids outtake. So procurement went back and did a deeper dive in terms of the evaluation, and in fact found that that supplier outtake was found non-responsive as well. And today that we're asking that you provide a approval of the award for the lowest responsive bidder as outlined on the board agenda. And that's for B50006094.
Yes, Ms. Brown. Can you also address item number 5 as well at the same time? We'll just hear both.
Yes, sir. In addition, same protest, almost identical. We went back and took another review of it, and they consistently submitted the same bid that was required to be a firm fixed price and be held for 90 days. And both the offers outlined in the protest were found non-responsive. I see that Laura Simmons is on, and she did a law opinion in terms of the B50006094. I'll defer to her.
At this point, are there any questions for B5006094 or B5006095, items 4 and 5 on that's on the agenda? Are there any questions for Ms. Brown from the board? Hearing no questions for Ms. Brown. Ms. Simon, do you have anything to add to the discussion?
Nothing from the law department. Good morning, honorable members of the board. I'm Laura Simon from the law department. Nothing to add to what Ms. Brown stated. I would note that there are no awards being recommended to Alltech today. Those items are not on the agenda. And I believe that the remaining item on the letters from Terex are simply what is the city's plan going forward? Are they going to rebid these items? So it's not a protest of an award to Alltech right now. There's currently no award being recommended by the Bureau of Procurement.
Thank you for the information and update. Is Mr. Sexton, David Sexton from Terex on?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm here.
And I just wanted to provide you an opportunity. I believe your issue is resolved at this point, and you have no additional information to add. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I also heard earlier in the week that there's a high probability that these two items will be going out to rebid, and if that goes through fruition, then we obviously would withdraw our protest and then move forward to rebid those two items.
Well, Mr. Terex, thank you for calling this to the attention of the board. Obviously, when we have protests, this is not just to you, but to the citizens of Baltimore. We take them serious, and this is how this process is supposed to work. Without hearing or seeing any additional questions or concerns at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding item number 4. That's B50006094. Group number 1, SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles.
So we would need a motion then to approve these two contracts?
Correct.
I so move.
I second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Next up, I would like to entertain a motion regarding item 5, B5000-6095, group number 2, SUVs, medium and heavy duty vehicles.
Move that we approve this contract.
Second.
Moved and properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. If there is there any additional questions, concerns, or comments that any members of the board would like to make about today's meeting? As there are no more business before the board, we will recess until bid opening at 12 noon. The board will reconvene January the 20th, 2021. I thank everyone for tuning in. Please remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, and please stay safe, Baltimore.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. The Board of Estimates is now in session for the receiving and opening of bids. As part of the overall effort to limit transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the Board of Estimates is conducting bid openings virtually. Members of the public can call in to listen to bid openings live by calling 443-984-1696 and entering access code 0817325. Once again, that number is 443-984-1696, entering access code 0817325. Board of Estimates meetings are broadcast live on Charm TV, Channel 25, on Comcast Cable in Baltimore City. Meetings are also streamed on the internet at https://www.charmtvbaltimore.com/live-stream. The Board of Estimates will continue to conduct bid openings virtually while the state of emergency declared by the Mayor of Baltimore and Governor of Maryland remains in effect. No addenda have been received for today's bid opening. Bids to be received on 1/13/2021. Item 1, procurement B50005975, preventive maintenance for gas chromatographs, MSDs. Item 2, procurement B50006157, vehicle window tinting. And item 3, procurement B50006158, group violence reduction strategy, adult support and outreach provider. None of these have bid bonds or a check amount for them. The first item, all right.
Okay.
I think I need to take the original one out first.
And then I need to give him that sheet.
Okay. All right. The first bid is from Agilent Technologies Incorporated, and it appears to be there's two different series prices. I just read both. Oh, item bid prices. Okay. All right. Pass that on.
What's that?
This is the item bid, prices will not be read.
So
I think you just say it's an item bid.
I just say it's an item bid.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is an item bid and the bid price will not be read. All right. Okay. All right, the next bid is from Electronic Risks Consultants Incorporated. It's an item bid, and the prices will not be read. right, now we've moved on to item 2. Pass you that sheet. Keep the original and pass the.
Yeah, I had a Remy group as well.
So this is the third one.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, well then we'll hold these right now. Oh, I got you. So I keep this original. You get this duplicate. Grid. All right. And the third bid is from the Remy Group LLC. And that item, quote, the bid price will not be read. All right. Okay, and then now we've moved on to the second one, the vehicle window tinting. The first bid is from Clearview Auto Glass and Repair LLC, and the bid price is $1,480. Okay. Yep. There's nothing else for number 2? Okay. Okay. And so that was the only bid for item number 2. And then for item number 3, okay.
So, for the, when you finish the bid, solicitation, when you complete the last item, you refer the bids to
Procurement.
for review.
So do it for all 3 at the same time?
Well, generally you do it one at a time.
But not after each bid. I got
They
it.
do it after each bid, actually. After you complete the last item for each one, they usually refer to the department for review and
Should
process.
I do that now?
Yes.
Okay, as to the first set of bids, the item bids for B50005975, those will be referred to procurement. As to the second item, B50006157, that also will be referred to procurement.
So did I ever send you the sheet for number 3? Yeah. Okay. There's the copies. Okay. So the first bid is from Youth Advocate Programs Incorporated. This is a technical submission, so the price will not be read at this time. Just pass this along. The second bid is from SEEDCO, Structured Employment Economic Development Corporation. And it's also as a technical submission, and so the bid price will not be read at this time. The next one is from Holistic Life Foundation. And again, this is a technical submission, so the bid will not be read at this time. last one is from Core Influencer Institute Incorporated and does not appear to have a separate price envelope submitted as part of the technical submission. So I guess procurement will have to deal with that. Oh, okay. Well, so this will be sent to the law department. Oh, I would be happy to accept a motion to refer this bid to the law department.
So moved.
I second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. All opposed nay.
Aye.
Motion carries. A former city council president taught me that one. Okay.
So only that last bid will be referred to the law department, right? The Core Influencer Institute. The other three will be referred to procurement?
Yes.
Okay, with no other business before the board at this time, or does the city solicitor have to refer those to procurement? He just did. Okay, excellent. Okay, then with no other business before the board at this time, the Board of Estimates stands in recess. We will reconvene on Wednesday, January 20th at 9 a.m. Thank you very much.